Well, thank you, everybody. My name is Robin Grille. I want to say thank you especially to Marc-André for having invited me and giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you. I'll tell you where my topic sprang from, and of course the title is "The New Fascism: Social Devolution or Growth Panic." Um, so my first book was Parenting for a Peaceful World, which was a psychohistorical book in part, as well as a parenting book suggesting child rearing reforms if we want a world of a more peaceful world, a more democratic world. And for the new French edition of the book, Marc-André very kindly offered to write a foreword. Because some time had elapsed between the first publication and then the upcoming publication in French, I was really presented with a problem in that the end of my book ends with some hope, with an upbeat note, with indications that as child rearing reforms accelerate and gather pace over recent decades, there has already been some very remarkable social dividends. And perhaps a lot of us by now might be familiar with the statistics that human violence in all of its forms, domestic, international, etc., has been sharply on decline, most surprisingly, in spite of the fact that it hasn't disappeared. And democracy has been on the rise. Insofar as democratic processes, I think democracy is still at a very embryonic state. So I ended on this note, and soon after the book was published, this theme of polarization, which is central to our conference, it really exploded in a whole new way on the world stage. Things changed, new developments, frightening developments. There definitely seems to be an atmosphere of great political polarization, polarization of views. I wrote an epilogue to try to understand it, an epilogue to my new readers, to say, to address what I think has happened. And although I'm very tempted to be frightened and depressed when I look at the rise of this new permission to be xenophobic and ultra-nationalistic that's taken over in Europe. We saw recently in Brazil, very, very much in Australia, in the United States, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It seems to be quite a global trend. Have we lost all of the gains that were made in the era of human rights since after the Second World War? Have we lost those gains? Are we backsliding? So I want to propose this in my presentation. I want to present it according to my feeling, of course, open to debate. I see what's happening right now through the lens of backlash, a social evolution that has reached a natural point where backlash is likely to happen. I want to try to understand that in terms of growth panic. And I think there's good basis to say that. Then I want to narrow my lens. Why is so much of the world seemingly up in arms, backsliding against democratic changes, against a social diversification? I think we're bumping into an era where that is well addressed in terms of identitarian politics. Something about our preoccupation, the human attachment to a sense of identity. And I think that's why we're listening to the social dialogue, the political dialogue, the chatter in social media and on television, especially in the English-speaking world. What an obsession there is now with gender dynamics. People are angry about this thing called wokeism all of a sudden. Everyone's obsessed, not everyone, of course, but that seems to be up high in the preoccupation and the loss of national identity. So What happens to us when we're not ready to let go of our crystallized sense of self-identity? That's where I come in as a psychotherapist. My training was in somatic psychotherapy, developmental psychotherapy, relationship psychotherapy. And I want to look at the role of identity, self-identity, as a developmental stage. Why we need to pass through that, I believe. But what happens that gets us stuck in a sense of identity in which we are unable to let it go, to be open to letting go of who we thought we were collectively. Right now, the old patriarchy is very much under threat. The nation state is dissolving very much, which is only a recent invention when you think about it. But we freeze around these identities. What happens next? Why is it that a lot of us can let go and some of us can't? That's what I want to address with a particular lens on adolescence as a critical developmental stage. I won't say more because I would spoil it, but that's essentially what we will be talking about. I'll set the stage, and then hopefully we can have a nice discussion, a vibrant discussion afterwards. And thank you very much. I look forward to meeting some of you when it's my turn to speak, and elsewhere too. All the best.